Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, it seems as if there is a never-ending list of scammers and hoodlums and criminals and fraudsters that are making their way around the world and using YouTube as a mechanism to communicate with the wider diaspora. And with this, they're able to use YouTube to gather people to be their next potential victims. We often ask ourselves, why? Why did they do it? Some of these people have not come from the worst backgrounds. They tend to steal money from us and find enjoyment in it. It's a really strange thing to see these people find enjoyment out of stealing money from people who are, for all intents and purposes, in a similar position to what they are. They also wanted to escape. Most of the people who are scamming are not based in the country in which the majority of their victims are based in. A lot of them are based on the continent of Africa because that is the dream that they are selling to their victims. A life in which they can live in peace around people that look like them. A lot of people seem to know exactly why she is doing what she is doing, which is self-destructing. She is just greedy. She is a hood rat. She's an opportunist. She has organized this from the get-go to take her subscribers' money. Other people have been blaming her mental state for the reason why she has been stealing her subscribers' money. Now, of course, I briefly touched on her mental state a few days ago when I made a video comparing her to another YouTuber, Ava Zubek. I was quite annoyed with some of the comments that were left in my comment section. I had a lot of people that said, oh, how could you possibly do this? How could you compare her to a white girl? Are you growing up in that situation? Is that some sort of joke where you believe that we cannot be compared to a white European woman? Is that how you are growing up in this life, believing that white privilege trumps all and that somehow you cannot aspire to greatness because there is always another European who is able to get higher than you are because they are white? That is the way victims live. And I'm not no victim. I've never lived this way. I never lived vicariously through these people. Why should I? I was always brought up to believe that I wasn't just on par with these Europeans, but that I was better. It saddens me to see some of these comments. It just shows us the climate that we are living in at this present moment. We have people who truly believe that they will have to struggle all their lives. And I never struggled. I had an amazing life. And if anything, the color of my skin gave me a better, virtuous life than the vast majority of Europeans that I knew personally. A lot of people have been calling Maryjane Byarm a narcissist. They've been throwing this word around quite a lot. It had me wondering, do they actually know what a narcissist is? Have they genuinely analyzed her? Or have they just added that word to her because, she's a weirdo and she's stealing money and she's lying? We're gonna try and analyze Maryjane Byarm. We're gonna try and answer ourselves this one simple question. Is Maryjane Byarm a narcissist? But first, like always, I'm gonna ask you to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon. Link in the description. If you've been following this channel long enough, you will know about the videos I've made about Art Kathy, the psychology of how she works, how she thinks. We're gonna do something similar today. I know this triggered a lot of people. If you guys thought, well, wait a minute, you're not a psychiatrist. In my opinion, it is important for us to do this because it is her subscribers that are on the front line. Some of them are young girls who have been manipulated by her and they have lost thousands of dollars. I could never imagine losing that kind of money when I was 18, 19 years old. So it's important that we know what kind of a person Maryjane Byarm is, whether she actually does have an antisocial personality disorder like narcissism. So we're going to take our information from the most simplest of places. We're going to Google it. And it reads, Narcissistic personality disorder, one of several types of personality disorders, is a mental condition in which people have an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationships, and a lack of empathy for others. That's what Google throws up as a definition of what a narcissist is, but of course it gets way deeper than that. Narcissism is the type of antisocial personality disorder, like a psychopath, which is actually closely related to someone who is a sociopath. Sociopaths and psychopaths have the same 7 traits except one trait that is different with a psychopath. Sociopaths are driven with emotion. They act and live their lives based upon their emotion. Psychopaths don't have that emotion. That is the difference. And this is the reason why psychopaths tend to be very successful in life, because psychopaths are able to control their emotions. They still have it, but they have it fully under control and only allow it to manifest itself when they need it, more notably when they're doing something naughty.
Screw this shit.
Psychopaths have everything under control. Psychopaths tend to be surgeons and lawyers and doctors and politicians. A lot of those types of people who go into those professions tend to be on the psychopathic spectrum at some point, on some level. Sociopaths genuinely don't tend to be successful in life because they are not in control of themselves. So let's get psychopaths out of the way, because we know Maryjane Byarm is not in full control of her emotions. I listened to what some of the ladies that went away with her had to say about the way she was acting while she was away with them. Take a listen to this.
I felt so bad because I left my family here. You know, I went there because I wanted to visit. I wanted a trip because I'm always working. I never have time for anything. And she actually was like, oh, you can come and stay with me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, but like I paid for everything. Like I paid. When we went to the hotel, she said that her bank was not working and that her sister was going to help her. And like, I would go out, I would pay for everything.
You can see that Maryjane Byarm is the type of person who cannot hold back her emotions. Psychopaths would never be in this position. Psychopaths in general tend to be quite successful in their lives, so they don't tend to steal things anyway. They don't have to. A sociopath is the type of person who can manipulate people, who can put them into situations and then take their money. We have 7 definitive traits of a narcissist, and we are going to look at each of those 7 traits, and we're going to ask ourselves, does Maryjane Byarm have that particular trait? Number 1 trait, an excessive reliance on others for self-definition and self-esteem. I'm not sure whether she actually has this. Maryjane Byarm is quite an attractive young lady. She went through a rough time with this gentleman that she spoke about. You could tell that she is now, even up till today, years later, she is still recovering from this guy. Just the fact that she was with this guy and she had this turbulent ending to her relationship, it tells us that she's now in a situation where she is constantly trying to find people to say, you look beautiful, you look great, we love what you're wearing. She loves reading all of her comments. It seems like a full-time job at this moment, actually, to keep her social media profile clean. I wonder if someone is actually, well... Oh look, it's Maryjane Byarm's mother, and let's see what she has to say for herself. Hey friends, my friend Tracy is looking for 4 people who would like to work from their phone. It's part-time social media work, and you can earn anywhere from $200 to $2,000 a month. No experience needed. All right. Well, okay, so if any of you guys are looking for a position with a prominent YouTuber, it looks like Maryjane Byarm's mother at this moment is looking for people to work for them. I don't know why. Does Maryjane Byarm have this excessive reliance for other people to give her self-esteem? I would definitely say so. Number two, the lack of empathy. You guys have seen the way she has stolen this money, and you can also tell that only 2 days ago she got a wad of money in her bank account. Next month she will get a huge amount of money from her YouTube account, because this month she would have been paid for the month before when her views were okay, all right? But right now her views are blowing up, ridiculous. So she's looking at a payday of at least $17,000 that's going to go into her bank account. But even this time, even though she only had around $7,000 go into her account, she must not value her own brand enough to just take out $1,000 or $2,000, break it into pieces, into $500 pieces, and start paying people off in order to try and save her name, to save her brand. But she didn't do that. She hasn't done that. So that tells me that she has very low self-worth and that she has zero sympathy for the people that sent her the money. With everything that's going on, she's getting angry with these people, and she's trying, the fact that they have now come out about her, I feel that she is not going to give this money back to those people who actually came out and spoke against her. So does she lack empathy? I think number two, yeah. She doesn't have any empathy whatsoever for other people. She cares about number one, and number one is herself. Exploitive of others. Do I even need to answer this one? I mean, this is a definitive yes, of course. She has been exploiting everybody since day one. Yesterday, I watched the same live with these ladies who went to see her in Dubai, and this happened.
I felt so bad because I left my family here. You know, I went there because I wanted to visit. I wanted a trip because I'm always working. I never have time for anything. And she actually was like, oh, you can come and stay with me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, but like, I paid for everything. Like, I paid. When we went to the hotel, she said that her bank was not working, and that her sister was going to help her. And like, I would go out, I would pay for everything.
She used them to pay for her hotel room and to pay for her food. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing. But once again, if she has very low self-esteem and a low sense of worth, then it's likely she could easily go up to these people and ask them for these types of things and not feel any sense of shame about it. So number three, exploitive of others. That's 100% a definite yes. Number four, a grandiose and condescending. Absolutely. If you listen to the way she's spoken about people with depression, if you've listened to the way she speaks about certain people when they speak to her about racism and their experiences, you can tell that one, she can't control her emotions, and two, she doesn't really care about what they think. All she cares about is what she thinks, and she thinks whatever she thinks is the most important thing, and that's it. She doesn't feel like she can learn from other people, and that is a definitive sign of antisocial personality disorder. An exaggerated entitlement. When she got all these gifts given to her, it's almost as if she expected it, and that this is the way it should be, and that you should be happy that you got the chance to meet her in public, to meet her face to face and give her a present. Listen to these ladies speak about her in this live. I realized that, yeah, that's absolutely it. She definitely feels like she's entitled to the things that she is getting. And this is part of the reason why she hasn't given the money back. Now, in Maryjane Byarm's defense, I believe that she should have had a return policy. There will always be some fees associated with that. So I think those girls could have said, I sent you $2,000. Okay, I'm sorry. If there's any fees, please take it out and send me the rest back. And given her a couple of $100 for the messing around. I think that could have been done. But you can't expect to send $2,000 to this person, to anyone. You wouldn't expect it if you sent it to a cruise line operator or an airline. You wouldn't expect to have all your money back. So why do you expect it back from Maryjane Byarm? This is indicative of the types of people who follow Maryjane Byarm. Somebody said in my comments, I don't believe you should be calling Maryjane Byarm's followers stupid. And I didn't really call them stupid, I called them naive. They are definitely naive. Take a listen to this.
Not so.
Yourself in that crazy country.
Yeah, I was by myself in a Muslim country, away from my family. So what I did, I've been paying like for everything here. Like honestly, I felt used.
Right, she abused
I
you.
felt terrible. I was alone in this Muslim country.
What? Muslim country? She's obviously talking about Dubai. This is kind of typical of the types of people who are following Maryjane Byarm. They've been living in this cocoon called the United States of America that has been beating them with this highly tuned media machine that has been beaten into them exactly what the rest of the world outside of America looks like. She's afraid. I'm in a Muslim country without knowing that she is far more safer in Dubai than she ever will be in New York City or in LA. She is far safer in Bahrain or in Qatar or in Kuwait than she ever will be in New York City. But she doesn't know this because she believes what has been told to her on the media. Take a listen to this as well.
Because like I myself, I'm Christian. My mother married a Jewish man. And you know, they don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe in Jesus.
Her Jewish stepfather doesn't believe in Jesus. Perhaps the most famous Jew in the history of mankind. All right. So I'm not sure if she got that wrong. Perhaps she was trying to say that her stepfather didn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah, was the Savior, was the Son of God or whatever. Perhaps that is the case. But he definitely existed in the minds of Christians. Definitely in the minds of most Jewish people as well. You have to question this gentleman's knowledge on Judaism. But a lot of people who are secular Jews don't know much about Judaism. They just know what they've been taught whilst they were growing up. Does Maryjane Byarm lie? I'm going to have to show you that she does actually lie, and she lies a lot. I'm going to take you back to the video that she made about her being pregnant. I'm going to break down what she says in this video. You're going to see for yourself by just taking a look at her body language. Take a look at this.
Get an Uber, arrive at his house, and go to his bedroom, and of course, the thing happens. We have sex.
The look on her face speaks volumes. That is a face of disgust when she is talking about having sex with this boy. So she genuinely feels either disgusted with herself or disgusted with the act of having sex, or perhaps disgusted with the act of having sex with this particular boy. Another thing that I see is that she actually calls it sex. And if she is that infatuated with this guy, infatuation could be different than love, but when you're perhaps a little older, you would call it making love, don't you? You say making love when you are making love to a woman. Making love doesn't mean that it's, any less raw, any less emotional. In fact, it's quite the opposite, isn't it? When you're making love, you are also deeply emotionally involved in that person that you are having that physical activity with. So it's more than sex, but the fact that she calls it sex, that does speak volumes to me.
And it lasted all of 1 minute.
1 minute.
2 a minute 32, a minute 30.
So as you can see, she continuously looks over to the right-hand side when she's speaking about this guy and trying to remember what happened, her experience of apparently having sex with this guy. So because she's looking over to the right, she's accessing the side of her brain, which is the creative side of her brain, which tells me that it's highly likely that she is lying about her experience with this guy. Why she's lying, I don't know. And this isn't an exact science. It may be the case, it may not be the case. A lot of you guys might say, oh, wait a minute, she could just be looking over there for the sake of looking over there. Well, what we'll do is we'll continue watching the video and let's see if we can find something else out.
I wanted to instantly start bawling my eyes out, crying. Like, you don't want to spend time with me, you don't want to stay with me, I'm about to leave forever. He was like, I'm sad, but I'm about to head out. I gotta go to my friend's house.
So as you can see, she does it again. She continuously looks over to her right every time she starts speaking about this guy. I'm not even sure if this guy even exists, all right? This is highly likely, it's highly likely. Once again, it's not an exact science, but it's highly likely that she's telling porkies.
We'll see each other again. I'm like, how? I'm moving to China. I'm like, how? I'm moving to China. I'm like, how? I'm moving to China.
Now, that for me is a wrap. She is clearly lying about this guy. Why she's lying, I don't know why, but definitely she is making things up because she keeps looking to the right. She keeps accessing the side of her brain, which is the creative side of her brain. So she is creating something. Now, in the next part of this video, you're going to hear her speak about her experience taking the pregnancy test and speaking to her mother about having an abortion. And you're going to see for yourself how her body language changes. Take a look at this.
I asked my mom to take me to Walmart, and I went to Starbucks first. And so I go to Walmart and I grab like 5. Let me check this out so I can go take this test. So anyways, oh no, don't have an abortion. No, don't. And she was begging that I was gonna go through a lot if I had an abortion. And she was begging that I was gonna go through a lot if I had an abortion, and that it's not necessary and the baby is a gift. All babies are gifts. Praying and like speaking in tongues and stuff, and praying and like speaking in tongues and stuff, and it was intense. And I told both of my siblings, and it was intense. And I told both of my siblings.
So now you can clearly see that she has started to glance towards the left-hand side of the room. So she's glancing to the left, which means she is accessing the side of her brain which is used for memory. Okay, so it's like a computer. She's accessing her memory right now. So she is not lying. It's likely she's telling the truth in this case. She's just trying to remember what happened. So if you compare this to the beginning where she was always looking to the right, it's likely that she was lying about this guy. So you can see that she's kind of comfortable lying. She doesn't mind lying. She will do whatever she needs to do and say whatever she needs to say in order to manipulate her audience into thinking a certain way. So is she lying about what she's saying here? First of all, she's not turned towards the camera directly, like I am right now. That indicates that she doesn't want to be confronted by hundreds of thousands of people. That's a way that she can sort of deflect the attention that she is getting from the other side of the camera. She is more than likely lying about a lot of the things she is saying in this video. The last two traits are actually part of the first one, which is an excessive reliance on others for self-definition and self-esteem. The last two attention seeking, admiration seeking. So that all falls in line with YouTube. In this video that she's speaking about herself being pregnant, she's able to garner attention from her subscribers. 500,000 people watch those videos. She's able to get a lot of admiration from her hardcore fans who stood by her. A lot of people who saw through the fact that she claimed that she was a virgin. Most people accepted that she was a virgin. The reason we know that she was pregnant is because she told us. So she told us in order to make sure it hammered home. And you can see that she keeps looking down as well, which is a sign of shame. I'm not sure whether that means that she actually did do it or whether she's ashamed that she's actually lying about a lot of what she's talking about in this video. Those were the 7 traits. And she scored positive for all of them, which is kind of scary. It means she is full on. There is one other trait which is quite typical of narcissists. Narcissists can't be in long-term relationships. This is because, once again, they're not in a relationship with another person. The narcissist is in a relationship with themselves and another person, and it's difficult to keep all 3 people happy. I'm not a psychologist. I just checked this stuff up online. We are going to diagnose Maryjane Byarm. By the looks of things, she is an out and out narcissist. I never went in with any preconceived notions that she was an absolute narcissist. I came in to try and defend her, to say, wait a minute, she doesn't have this, she doesn't have that. But the reality is, she has all of these traits. I'm not sure how strong of a narcissist you are. You know, there are varying levels of narcissism. She seems to be doing well in her life as well, which means she has her emotions somewhat under control. I do believe that she will move on from this and she will become a better person. And I'm hoping that she will change. Narcissists don't tend to change. After the age of 7 years old, that's it. It's highly likely that they won't be able to change their behavior. However, the good news is they will be able to still live virtuous lives. If they know about this, this is the difficult part. They will be able to challenge themselves, push themselves, learn from their mistakes. Once they learn that they are a narcissist, they can challenge themselves into becoming better, virtuous people. That is my cloud with a silver lining. Maryjane Byarm can do better. I'm hoping that she will anyway. Do you think Maryjane Byarm is a narcissist? Do you think she is a psychopath? Do you think she has something else? Let me know in the comments section. It would be really good to hear your opinion on this. That's all I've got for today. I'd like to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'd like to give an extra special thank you to my patrons, and I will see you in the next one. Until the next time, please think twice. Ta-ra a bit.
Kotoko je mi bi okun fo ni ye ekun bi e be di